Good morning, grade 7 students, and welcome to another English lesson. The title of today's lesson is 3B Grammar plus Listen plus Speak and Write. As always, let's start our lesson by going through the objectives that we will be working on today. So by the end of this video, you will be able to first elicit the rule of comparative forms and use them correctly. Second, locate specific information after listening to a dialogue. And finally, you will be able to compare between life in the country and life in the city. Please open your student book, page 38 and 39, and your workbook, page 40, and let's start. So to learn about today's lesson, let's go back to yesterday's reading lesson. In the reading text, Brenda, who lives in Paris, Texas, in the US, visited Paris, the capital of France. Brenda compared between the Eiffel Tower in Paris, France, and the Eiffel Tower in Paris, Texas. Now look at the pictures and tell me which Eiffel Tower is taller. That's right, the Eiffel Tower in Paris, France. Can you use this information to form a full sentence? Great! The Eiffel Tower in Paris, France is taller than the Eiffel Tower in Paris, Texas. And that is what our lesson is about today, comparative forms. Okay, let's read the examples in exercise A, page 39 in your student book. For this exercise, you need to match the sentences 1 and 2 with the phrases A and B. Please pay attention to the words in blue, which will help you complete this exercise. Please pause the video, complete the exercise, and come back when you are done. Are you done? Let's check your answers. As you can see, these two sentences are about comparing two things. In the first sentence, we are comparing between the blue and the red t-shirt. As for the second sentence, we are comparing between the old museum and the new museum. Now, which adjective with 3 or more syllables and we consider as a long adjective? Great! The adjective interesting in sentence number 2. Since the adjective is long, and we add more to show the difference between the two things we're comparing, in this case, the old museum and the new museum. This means that the adjective cheap is a short adjective that takes ER, as you can see in this sentence. Now please focus on the word that follows the comparative form of the adjectives in the sentences in exercise A. Let's complete the rule below. What's the word that we use to show the second person or thing in a comparison? Yes, of course, the correct answer is then. Now go back to yesterday's reading lesson, pause the video and find more comparative forms. For example, Paris, France is more famous than Paris, Texas. Find other examples and come back when you are done. Okay, have a look at the other examples of comparative forms in the text from Paris to Paris. Now let's use 2 examples from the text and focus on the rule. Sentence number 1. The Eiffel Tower in France is taller than the Eiffel Tower in Texas. We start the sentence with a subject plus verb to be plus adjective plus ER and plus then. Please keep in mind that in comparative forms, we compare between 2 people, 2 things, or 2 places or animals. Moving on to the next example. The Eiffel Tower in France is more impressive than the Eiffel Tower in Texas. How do we start a sentence again? That's right, we start with the subject plus verb to be plus more plus adjective plus then. Now, do you remember why the adjective impressive takes more and not ER? That's correct, because the adjective impressive is a long adjective. Let's practice comparative forms in exercise C, page 39 in your student book. In this exercise, you need to complete the table with the correct form of the adjectives. For example, the comparative form of the adjective quiet is quieter than. We add ER because quiet is a short adjective. Now please pause the video and complete the table. Alright, Please check your answers and make sure you have copied the correct answers. Now, it's important to keep in mind that when we are comparing two people or two things that are similar, we use as plus adjective plus as. Of course, when they are not similar, we use not as plus adjective plus as. Look at the example here. Ahmed is as tall as Tariq. This means that both boys are similar in height. So the sentence starts with the subject plus verb to be plus as plus the adjective plus as. Now let's practice using as plus adjective plus as. In your workbook, page 40, work on exercise C. For this exercise, read the sentences, then form new sentences using not plus adjective plus as, or simply as plus adjective plus as. Let's do the first one as an example. Number 1. The motorbike is more expensive than the bike. It's clear that both the motorbike and the bike have different prices, and that the motorbike is more expensive than the bike. So the answer is the bike isn't as expensive as the motorbike. Now pause the video and complete this exercise. Alright, let's check your answers. Sentence number 2. These balconies are long. They are both 10 meters. So the answer is this balcony is as long as that balcony. Sentence number 3. My hometown is bigger than your hometown. So if you answered your hometown isn't as big as my hometown, then you are correct. Sentence number 4. My project and Ahmed's project are both impressive. Since they are both equally impressive, the correct answer would be Ahmed's project is as impressive as my project. Sentence number 5. It is peaceful in my neighborhood and in my grandfather's village. Since both places are peaceful, the correct answer is my neighborhood is as peaceful as my grandfather's village. And finally, sentence number 6. Mr. Johnson's car is dirtier than Mr. Frederick's car. Since one car is dirtier than the other, the correct answer here is Mr. Frederick's car isn't as dirty as Mr. Johnson's car. Please check your answers before we move on to the next exercise. Great. Let's practice more, but this time in your student book. Let's work on exercise D, page 39. For this exercise, please complete the sentences with the correct form of the adjectives in brackets. Read sentence number 1 and let's work on it together. I think popcorn is tasty than crisps. There are keywords in each sentence that can help you answer correctly. In this sentence, we have the word than, and the adjective is tasty. This adjective is short, so the answer here is tastier. We dropped the Y and added I-E-R because there is a consonant before the Y. Now please pause the video and complete the exercise. Okay, let's see how well you did in this exercise. Sentence number 2. My new neighborhood isn't as peaceful as my old neighborhood. We have as and as in this sentence, so the adjective stays the same. My neighborhood isn't as peaceful as my old neighborhood. Sentence number 3. The Pacific Ocean is big than the Atlantic Ocean. Then in this sentence means there is a difference between both oceans. So the correct answer here would be bigger. The Pacific Ocean is bigger than the Atlantic Ocean. Sentence number 4. Our garden is as beautiful as our neighbor's garden. We have as and as in the sentence, which means that both gardens are beautiful. So the correct answer would be our garden is as beautiful as our neighbor's garden. Sentence number 5. Ahmed is good at science than Saleh. Again, we have the word than. So what is the comparative form of the adjective good? That's right. Ahmed is better at science than Saleh. Finally, sentence number 6. My house is far from school than Fatima's house. Since we have then in this sentence, the correct answer should be my house is farther or further from school than Fatima's house. Both answers are correct. Great, we have achieved the first objective. We elicited the rule of comparative forms and used them correctly. Now let's move on to the listening task. In your student book, page 39, please read the 4 sentences in exercise A before we start the listening task. Okay, let's start.
4. Listen. A. Listen to Laura talking to her cousin about her new house and write T for true or F for false. Then check your answers with a partner.
Hey, Laura, what do you think of your new house?
Well, I like it more than our old house because it's bigger and it's got a beautiful garden.
Oh, that's nice. Your old house didn't have a garden, right?
No, just a balcony.
And what's your bedroom like?
Well, it's a bit smaller than my old bedroom, but I don't mind.
Really?
Yes, my brother Charlie got the big bedroom, but that's okay because I've got a beautiful view of the garden.
And what about the neighborhood?
It's great because it's more peaceful than my old neighborhood. I can finally get some peace and quiet.
Yeah, your old neighborhood was a bit noisy. The park next to your house was very popular, and lots of kids went there to play every afternoon.
Well, that won't be a problem anymore. In my new neighborhood, the nearest park is a 10-minute bike ride away. But at least now I can use my bike to get around.
Really? Is your new neighborhood safer than your old one?
Yep, and my school's closer too. I don't have to take the bus to get there. I can go on foot or by bike. But my brother Charlie always takes the bus to school. He's so lazy sometimes.
Haha. So, do you like your new school?
Well, it's okay, but I miss my old school and my friends, of course.
Don't worry, you'll make new friends.
I guess.
Alright, let's check your answers. Sentence number 1. Laura's old house had a balcony. The correct answer here is T for true. Sentence number 2. Her new bedroom has got a beautiful view of the garden. The sentence is also correct. Sentence number 3. Her new house is next to a park. Well, the nearest park is a 10-minute bike ride away, so the answer here is F for false. Finally, sentence number 4. She has to take the bus to get to school now. Since her school is closer, she doesn't have to take the bus to get to school. So the answer is again F for false. Please check your answers before we move on to the next exercise. Well done, dear students. We have achieved the second objective. We located specific information after listening to a dialogue. Now let's move to the final objective of today's lesson. For the speak and write task, please look at the 2 pictures and use the adjectives below to compare between life in the city and life in the country. Let's find out more about life in the country and life in the city before we start working on this exercise. Look at the following pictures to find out the difference. Life in the city here means that there are a lot of buildings and towers, there's traffic and it's noisy. Life in the country, on the other hand, is relaxing and you can enjoy the nature and the green grass. You can also enjoy the peace and quiet because there aren't a lot of noise and traffic. Alright, now pause the video and form sentences to compare between life in the country and life in the city. When practicing speaking in this task, have one of your family members help you with the speaking task, or even your friend. You could simply say the sentences out loud to practice comparative forms and your pronunciation. Look at the following examples. You could say, life in the city is more expensive than life in the country, or life in the country is quieter than life in the city. Finally, in exercise B, use the ideas above to write a paragraph about the place where you live. Look at the following example. I live in Al-Wakra. Al-Wakra is smaller than Doha city. There are a lot of interesting places in Al-Wakra. Isdan Mall has less shops than Doha Festival Mall. Here I'm describing Al-Wakra city. Now pause the video and work on your own paragraph. Once you are done, share your paragraph with your teacher to get feedback about it. Very good, dear students. We have achieved the third and final objective, which is to compare between life in the country and life in the city. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and stay safe.